Good evening. Welcome to Anupali. I'm happy to be back with you for another enlightening program. I hope your Easter celebrations were filled with wonder for risen Lord and all the blessings He continues to heap on the life of your families. I am happy to be back with you this evening after Easter break. Our thoughts are with our brothers and sisters on the island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. As you're aware, the La Soufrière volcano erupted on Friday, and since then I have been in contact with the Vincentian Prime Minister, Dr. Gonzalez, to offer our support. Over 20,000 Vincentian nationals have had to be evacuated from the red zone in the north of the island, and the government and people of Dominica have offered assistance to accommodate a group of our brothers and sisters who have been displaced by the eruption. Dominica will accommodate 300 Vincentian nationals, and will cover all costs associated with their being among us in Dominica. Over the weekend, a number of national organizations and volunteers worked to get the Moroccan Hotel and 10 other properties in Portsmouth ready to accommodate the 300 Vincentians for up to a period of 5 months. Also over the weekend, the National Emergency Planning Organization, NEPO, met to update and fine-tune details for the evacuation and shelter management plan in preparation for the arrival of our Vincentian brothers and sisters. The Public Utilities Subcommittee is currently overseeing arrangements to test the installed utilities, including power, water, and gas. Attempts are also underway for internet connection at 11 identified facilities. We have gotten indication that Flow has agreed to finance the internet connection and service at the Moroccan Hotel, and that NTRC has agreed to finance the internet installation at the 10 other facilities identified in the Portsmouth-Picard area. We thank these two entities for their swift response and their willingness to assist in that regard. The Emergency Shelters Subcommittee has activated its management structure, and teams are in place and on standby to assist, of course, keeping in mind strict COVID-19 protocols that will have to be observed and maintained. In this regard, the Health Subcommittee is a key player in the operations and have already submitted a comprehensive draft health plan for the evacuees, which is ready to be implemented. As far as welfare is concerned, the National Psychosocial Support PSP team will be placed on standby and will commence work with the evacuees after the quarantine period and the all clear is received from the Ministry of Health. As you can imagine, food and supplies will become a major consideration. The General Manager of Dexter, who oversees this area, will coordinate the identification of warehouses to store relief items, identify personnel to support the management of warehouses, and support the coordination of relief management interventions. We have also considered the issues of waste management and security, and have discussed the coordination of waste management for identified facilities, as well as a security plan for selected facilities. At the Secretariat level, we expect that the ODM and NEPO will continue to coordinate the overall operations of the subcommittees and provide guidance as needed. I encourage all of us to embrace this effort to assist our Vincentian brothers and sisters. As a people, we are most familiar with the impact of disaster, and it is not too much to ask that we show empathy and care and concern for our brothers and sisters. I thank all those who have already put in a fair amount of effort to prepare for the arrival of, including the various state actors, the NEP workers and volunteers. You're also welcome to volunteer time and resources to the cause. As a matter of fact, there are many individuals who have sent me messages indicating that they're prepared to accommodate some families once they arrive in Dominica. And that is the spirit of Dominicans, that's the Dominican spirit. And so a special hotline has been established for the general public to offer support for housing or other areas of assistance. The hotline number is 611-HOST, which is 611-4678. 611-4678 is the hotline number. And the email address is hostsvg@dominica.gov.dm. So hostsvg@dominica.gov.dm. We will continue to lend our support. Let us continue to keep the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in our prayers. My sincere concern and empathy go out to every one of our St. Vincentian brothers and sisters. I know too well what the Prime Minister himself has to deal with, having gone through Maria and Erica. And so whatever we can do, we shall do to support our friends and family in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Forging ahead with the business of state here in Dominica, just this week, I visited the site of the new residences going up at Joe Burton and Wesley as we prepare to begin work on the international airport. We are relocating residents who have had to be relocated or moved to make way for the airport construction. I am happy to report that work is progressing steadily on the new housing, and I thank the local contractors and builders who are engaged on the project for their efficient work. I also thank MMCE for the oversight it is providing on the project and for its partnership with the government and people of Dominica. I am confident in the work we are doing behind the scenes to build this, our international airport. Soon, we will tell you much more about the progress of the project by inviting on this very program some of the key people involved in the preparatory work. Also, this past week, we received 28,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine under the COVAX facility. At this stage, we are at a 40% vaccination rate, having gained a head start with vaccines received from the government of India and China. This new injection of vaccines gives us the ability to continue with the goal of inoculating at least 70% of our population. Once again, I wish to impress on you the importance of taking the vaccine for your own good and for the good of your families and the good of your communities. I thank the Pan American Health Organization for facilitating the vaccine delivery to developing states like ours that depend on the facility to be able to access these much needed vaccines. There's so much more to tell you in the coming days and weeks, but today I've invited two parliamentary secretaries to speak with us. We have Honorable Shakira Lockhart-Hippolyte, the Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, International Transport, and Maritime Initiatives, and the Parliamentary Representative for the wonderful constituency of Roosevelt South. And I have with me my former grammar school mate, Honorable Kent Edwards, who is the Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Wellness, and New Health Investments, and the Parliamentary Representative for the wonderful constituency of La Plaine. You're welcome to call in with your queries or suggestions, 225-3400 and 611-3400. Both of you are here for the first time. So I want to say good evening to you and welcome to Anupali. I must say when you guys walk into my office all dressed up, I wanted to go home to change, but I don't have enough time to do so. So I'm happy to have you here. Welcome. Shakira, I can call you Shakira, right?
Yes, Pierre.
Okay, good.
Yes,
and I call it Kent.
Yes.
That's fine?
Yes.
Well, welcome to the program. Incidentally, the issue of vaccines is most relevant to both your ministries. In Honorable Edward's case, health, responsible for it, and in your case, tourism, where people are most impacted and people will be having greater interaction with tourists. But how would you rate the work that we have done in the past weeks to get our population vaccinated?
PM, first of all, I'd like to thank you for inviting me on the program. I want to send special greetings to the people of the Roosevelt Constituency and also the government and people of St. Vincent as they're going through these trying times. We have done a lot as a country in regards to vaccination. PM, you reached out to the government of India and you brought in vaccines for us. Other organizations have assisted us in this regard. Many of the parliamentary representatives, including myself, have gone out to the communities and have tried different ways and means to get our people vaccinated. And I think the approach that we're taking is an aggressive one, and I really want to encourage the people of Dominica to get vaccinated.
Thank you. Kent, please.
Yes, good evening, PM. Thanks for inviting me. And let me say good night to the people of Lapin, Boutique, and Dillis. Over the past week, we have been seeing, first of all, we received from the government, from the COVAX facility, 28,000 new doses. And we already had new doses, some doses in stock from the government of India. And I'm very happy what I've been seeing over the past months and weeks. As a matter of fact, 17,000 Dominicans have been so far inoculated over the past months. And the second doses began last week Friday. In fact, I took my second shot last week Friday. So we are well on our way to achieving what we set out to do, which is to achieve herd immunity in our country. And we all know that's the only way we could come back to our normalcy. So I am happy and I'm thankful to the people of Dominica who have turned out so far, and the staff of the Ministry of Health. They are working tirelessly. They have been working over the past year and they have been at it. So we have nothing but commendations for them, and we're thankful for those who are taking it. And I'm encouraging everyone who has not taken the vaccines to go ahead and get inoculated, because as you can see, we know that these vaccines are very safe. So we are asking people to go and take the vaccines, please.
Thank you. Now, Honorable Hippolyte, we speak constantly of the importance of our population being vaccinated, as you quite rightly pointed out, to allow us to return to tourist activity, especially cruise tourism. What are we hearing, though, from the cruise lines about calling on our shores in this post-COVID period, or even during the COVID period?
Honorable PM, vaccination is a critical component in all aspects of tourism. And the cruise lines are eager to return to our ports. Their potential guests have been asking to return to unique destinations such as Dominica. We have been in discussions with Seabourn Cruise Line, and they have already placed us on their tentative schedule. As it relates to their protocols, they have informed us of many of their internal protocols, and we ourselves have shared our protocols with them. Besides the basic protocols such as hand sanitization and wearing of masks, the most essential travel protocols right now is vaccination. And the cruise lines have mandated that their guests and their crew must be vaccinated. We in Dominica are encouraging all our stakeholders, our tourism stakeholders and our frontline workers to be vaccinated. We have not reached the point of putting it into policy, as we have seen in Grenada, that they have taken a policy decision for all their tourism stakeholders to get vaccinated. We have not done that as yet. But I am hoping that we have reached 100% of our tourism stakeholders and our frontline workers vaccinated. So we are encouraging them to do so. We have also been in discussion with other cruise lines across the world, and they too have committed to coming into Dominica.
Thank you. Now, Honorable Edwards, I mean, it remains important, therefore, to continue the aggressive vaccination drive that you alluded to earlier. What is the plan going forward, though, for even more of our population to get vaccinated?
PM, the Ministry of Health is taking action to see that the majority of the people, if not all the targeted people, are inoculated. And the process is continuing. We are using various strategies. You heard of the cocoa tea and vaccination in Mahu. We had Palau and vaccination in the south. And we are going to use leaflets. We are going to use pamphlets. We are not waiting for them to come to us. We are going to them. We are aggressively pursuing the people, going to their doors, going to their homes, knocking, advertising, using the media, and we will not rest until we achieve what we are set out to do.
Thank you. Yeah, and to the bus stops and to
the bus stops and to the churches and to everywhere that we know that people congregate or people patronize, we go after them and we want to invite them. You go on the block and you ask the ground guys to take their vaccines, and we use advertising as well.
Yeah. Now, okay, we have made strides and progress in various other areas of health, most notably the opening of health and wellness centers to boost healthcare at the primary level. How do you see this? How do you see this new push in healthcare benefiting the community as a whole?
Well, primary healthcare, as we know, is in fact the pillar of health. Primary healthcare is what prevents people from getting sick and getting into hospitals. So primary healthcare will be targeted, and these new health centers will only augment what already exists, because Dominica is the country known for one of the best primary healthcare systems on earth. And we have been doing that since 1980. Incidentally, it was pioneered in La Plaine Health District back in 1980. So having worked in primary healthcare for well over 2 decades, I know what it is like, because we are in a position to prevent people from getting sick, and we call it health and wellness centers. So you don't have to be sick to come to the health center. You could walk into the health centers and get yourself checked. And early diagnosis or early detection or early prevention is what we want. We don't want people to get sick and then being brought to hospitals. Because I remember working in the primary healthcare system, and we went to the La Plaine bus stop once doing just random blood checks, and we got 23 new young men, all below the age of 50, that were hypertensive, and we were able to siphon them into our health system, and they got treated. And what I'm saying is, probably if we had went to the bus stop, they might have fallen through the cracks, get strokes. So what we want people to do is to utilize the health centers and go to the health centers, get themselves checked, because prevention is what we are going to do. Health promotion, prevention, nutrition. We are going to tell people how to eat better, exercise more, to avoid the excesses, alcohol, tobacco. This is what we are going to use these health centers and these wellness centers to do. And I can only see better days ahead in our health system.
I'm sure I agree with you entirely. Just to make it clear, when I made reference to 40% of the population, I meant 40% of the adult population within the category of those who have to get vaccinated have been vaccinated. That's 17,919 people for the first dose. And as the Parliamentary Secretary, Honorable Kent Edwards, indicated, there are people who have started receiving their second dose of the AstraZeneca and, of course, the Sinopharm from China. Now, Honorable Hippolyte, let us shift back to your ministry for a bit. One of the goals for creating a dynamic Dominica is the construction of a cruise village in our country. No doubt COVID-19 has dealt a major blow to these plans. But is this project still on the cards for Dominica?
Certainly, Pierre. COVID-19 has impacted the majority of our major plans for the sector as part of Dynamic Dominica. But while planning for this year's financial year, the cruise village was discussed. And when we looked at it, we thought that having a cruise village in the capital will only make, in terms of the appearance of the capital, more modern and progressive capital. And especially being at Woodbridge Bay, it will also enhance the visitors' experience, because it will be the first and it will also be the last experience that the visitor, lasting impression that will have on your cruise visitor. Also, in that area, they'll be able to taste some of our local cuisine and we'll be able to showcase some of our products. But certainly the cruise village is on the cards for Dominica, but it has been all hands on deck, PM, as you know, for the international airport, as we consider that as priority #1. And all the staff in the Ministry of Tourism, or Minister of Tourism, or PS, the Chief Executive Officer on the port has been part and parcel of the airport project. So as soon as this project is well advanced, we will go back to looking at the cruise village.
Now, how though are we preparing for the eventual resumption of cruise activity this year?
Yes, PM, that is a good question. As I mentioned earlier, vaccination is going to be very critical. We are encouraging all the stakeholders, as I said earlier, to get vaccinated. What we have done is we have set up vaccination areas for them, for instance, at the All Saints University and other areas, so that they could have gotten vaccinated. I was informed that that program is going on slowly but surely. Also, in regards to the preparation of cruise, we have also discussed with them our protocols. The Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Ports have given the protocols to the Borders Committee to look at. Essential to that component would be the training for our stakeholders, especially our vendors, our taxi drivers, and our tour guides. We want to ensure that these people are certified, Safe in Nature certified. So the training will not only entail as to how to put on a mask, but we will ensure that they know how to sanitize their goods, how to interact with the tourists, how to handle cash. Also, in terms of the infrastructure, we are also looking at the Old Market Square. And we have been in touch with the parliamentary representative for the Roosevelt Central Constituency on that project, because we want to give the Old Market Square a more modern look. We want to give it a facelift. We're also looking alongside the bayfront of a little mini mall where we can showcase our products, our cuisine there to make it more modern and to improve. We really have to enhance the visitors' experience there.
Sure, thank you. Thank you. Now, let us talk about the work that is going on at the constituency level. What progress are you making with housing in the Roosevelt South constituency?
Good question. Well, you know, and we have been having our challenges where housing is concerned. We have broken down our housing program into 3 components. One, we have windows and doors program, which is ongoing. We also have housing repairs and roof repairs, and we're also looking at the building of new homes and apartment type structure. I can inform the people of the Roosevelt South constituency that we have gotten the land at the Hutton Estate in Engliston. It is in our possession, and we have
How much land have we acquired?
4.5 acres of land, and we're hoping to build 30 apartments in the first instance. We have submitted all the documents, relevant documents, to the Ministry of Housing, and we're just awaiting the green light. In the 3rd quarter of this year, we have spent well over $200,000 assisting people with the repair of their roofs, and we have also given them much needed windows and doors they need for, because we know that the hurricane season is quickly approaching. We have also done assessments, PM, and I was shocked when I got the assessment from the housing officer, Mr. Al Thomas, because there's still a lot more to be done. But as I say to the people of Roosevelt South, it's a gradual process. Rome wasn't built in a day. And we're in this COVID environment, and we're still managing to assist people where housing is concerned.
Now, we have the new health center under construction. What is the status of this project, though? And can you comment on how important this facility will be for the Roosevelt South constituency?
I was quite surprised to have passed by the Newtown Health Center which is adjacent to the Fatima Church, opposite Valley Engineering in Newtown, and the structure is already up. I was quite surprised because it seems that we're racing to completion of this project. And when I came into cabinet, land was a major issue, and the health center was supposed to have been built in Castle Comfort. And I decided during the COVID period to look around the constituency and try to get land in Newtown, because you would have taken a big part of the community if we had to build the health center out of Newtown. So I want to thank Mr. Daniel Lagua for selling the land to us, PM. But it is extremely important, the health center, for the community. As they say, time saves lives. And I know that the Roseau Health Center is extremely crowded. And most times our elderly and most vulnerable have to wait for quite a while to see a nurse or doctor. So it is very important that the health center is placed in the community. It will save time. They will get much quicker service. It's a health and wellness health center. And I know the people of Newtown are looking forward to the opening of their health center.
Well, I certainly must commend you, though, because for years we've been wanting to build a health center in Newtown. The challenge was always land. And since you became proud of, you took this on, and you were able to assist the government in locating the right location, the right site for the construction of this health center. So we appreciate that. Now, you have this brainchild project. I see the Newtown Fisheries Complex to assist fishers with the sale of the catch. Can you tell us about this, though?
Yes, PM. If people know Newtown well, and people have been traversing the south, they would have seen for years that area was an eyesore. The building there was the Newtown Public Convenience. And when I came in, I said that we must do something about that building. And I've been seeing the fishermen selling on the roadside, and that is something that we do not want to encourage. So I held a discussion with members of the community. We had a consultation. They said to me, what is it that they wanted? And the stalls for the fishermen was not included. So I decided that we should build some fishing stalls for them, do a smaller public convenience, because around the island, I'm looking, especially in the urban areas, when we have public convenience, most times they're being vandalized. And so therefore I said, let's build a smaller public convenience. Let us do the vending stalls. And I told the people that it is temporary, PM. We intend to go up, to have a conference room where we can have meetings, and downstairs have locker rooms for the fishermen. I have been in discussion with the Newtown Fisheries Cooperative Board. And I really want to thank the principal of the Newtown Primary School, Miss Williams, because she has really been accommodating us. Every time that we have to have a meeting, you know, she always accommodates us at this school. So we want to do something more modern there, and we're hoping that it can be done soon. But the people are very appreciative of what that is there so far. They have been utilizing it. They're even asking us to have an opening ceremony, but I don't think that we should have that, because we intend to do a more modern facility there for them. And
so the plan, as I understand it, is to have a two-floor facility.
Two-floor.
The ground floor will be for the fishers.
Yes.
And the top floor will be as a community center, computer lab, and library for students and so forth.
Certainly, PM.
Now, Ken, what about Laplin, though? Among the accomplishments since you assumed office is a completion of the apartments in Daly's, and also on Laplin as well, and also works on the Daly's primary school, and road improvements, especially from La Ronde back to Whittaker to Daly's. I mean, can you bring the public up to date on these interventions?
Yes, PM. The Daly's apartments, as you know, and Laplin apartments, were completed, and they have been handed over to the recipients, and they are now living there comfortably. And the government has spent, since Hurricane Maria, excluding the apartments, over $6 million on housing Laplin today for local. and over 4 million on the other side in Dailies. So quite a lot of money has been spent in housing. However, housing still remains a challenge, and we are going to be working on it very soon because the housing officers have come up and they have made some very good estimates, and we have forwarded to the Minister of Finance so we could get some help. So I am telling the people of Lapland, Dominica and Dailies, who need housing assistance, that this is being taken care of, and we are going to take care of them very soon. As for the road between Lapland and Dailies, as we know, that road was in a very deplorable state, and the government spent well about $1 million to bring it back on par. And as we speak now, there is still work going on for taking care of some patches that are supposed to be done. The Dailies police station too was damaged by the hurricane, and it is now being repaired. The Dailies primary school, $1.2 million is being spent there. There's also works being done. In fact, it is completed in the Toloma processing facility in Dailies. $158,000 was spent there. In the Dailies Babel V oil, that was given some assistance as well. Over $100,000 was spent there because that area is dependent mostly on the Toloma, cassava, and bay oil. The Lapland area, as we know, has been a very agricultural area, but now the NEP is very active in Lapland. We have over 100 people now working under the NEP in Lapland. That is very significant because that's a very good form of employment for them. And in the schools, the fifth formers, the fourth formers, and the college students, laptops were given to them recently, so they now have devices so they could go ahead and do their assignments, and they're very thankful for that. And the social programs are continuing. We have the Yes We Care program, we have the 70 years and over program, and there are also the public assistance program. And all this money is being spent. And in Lapland, for example, monthly, over $42,000 every month is spent on the NEP. In the over 70s, $20,000 every month we spend there. And the public assistance, just in Lapland, 25 people are on that, and $7,000 monthly spending. So we are on our way to achieving better things in the Lapland constituency, with the housing and the social programs. I can only be thankful for that.
No, there's some works going on at the Dailies Primary School.
Yes.
How much money is being spent?
$1.2 million is being spent at the Dailies Primary School.
What are we doing there, though?
They are going a complete refurbishment of the school. The roofs, the floors, and I visited there on Thursday. The tiling is ongoing now, the painting is ongoing, and they're just doing a complete refurbishment. As a matter of fact, when it is completed, it will be a multi-purpose area. It can be used for hurricane shelter as well. It can also be used for community events. And having spoken about that, so let me just say that the Lapland Agricultural Station is earmarked for repairs. Very soon, contracts will be signed for $750,000 to be spent there. And the Lapland Agricultural Training Center, $450,000 will be spent there as well to repair these two agricultural facilities in Lapland. Okay. Plus the Dailies Primary School, yes. And the Lapland School was also fenced recently because it had been an open area. Stray animals could enter the budget. It was fenced recently, and well over $10,000 was spent fencing in Lapland Primary School.
Excellent. I've been told that we are having telephone problems. People are trying to get on and can't get on. We will try to have it fixed. But thank you very much for your understanding. Now, Shakira, the people of Kingshill and Wall House and Castle Comfort and Bath Estate are eager for road improvements. I know we've spent a significant amount of money in the constituency,
Yes.
Road improvements, but there's so many roads and so many streets in that constituency. What are your plans, though, to answer the calls of the people in Wall House and Castle Comfort and Kingshill and Bath Estate?
PM, as you rightly said, a lot of monies have been spent thus far in road improvement for the constituency. But there are so many roads to be done. I want to first commend, because there's a road that is being rehabilitated at 4 Bawa, and the community has taken charge of that. What I'm trying to do, especially in Wallhouse and Castle Comfort, is to encourage people to come out and for them to do, as we say, Kudme style PM. We'll provide the material to them, we'll provide the technical support as well to them, but we want to encourage that sort of thing. We will deal with the roads on a phased approach because we know that resources are scarce, especially in a time like now. Recently, I rehabilitated the entrance of the Leopoldville Road. That is next to the Greens supermarket in Wallhouse. We also rehabilitated the road at the Kings Hill Baptist Church, and Kings Hill people are saying to me that's the best they have seen their roads in years. Just the Back Street Road and 9 houses that we probably have to deal with in Kings Hill. But a lot of work have been done, and we'll try our best. And I don't believe PM in using any big contractors. We have skilled young men who can do the work at a reasonable price for us, so we can get more done with the little that we have.
So you tell the people of Bath Estate, Kings Hill, Wallhouse, Castle Comfort, that road improvements will continue? It will continue, PM. And I will say to that, you have the absolute support of the Minister of Finance. I will speak to him when I see him tomorrow morning.
I appreciate that, PM.
Sure. Now, what are the other plans do you have for the constituency? You know, I know you mentioned about the agricultural station and of course the training center that are very important for agriculture. But what are the plans that you're looking forward to in the Lapin constituency?
Yes. In Laron, the Laron water supply was in fact one of the best water supplies in terms of reliability, but Hurricane Maria unfortunately damaged it. And they are now without water. That's one of my priority projects looking forward. Obviously, the housing. And there is some guardrails in the Lapin Central area that we had done estimates for already, and measurements were done. So this is one of the projects that, because this is a dangerous area in the middle of the village, with a valley on one side. So I'm looking forward to.
That's above the church.
That's above the church.
Where the cross.
Towards the cross, yes.
Cross area.
That's where, yes. And the Ulysses Youth Center. The Ulysses Youth Center was one of the main areas in this community, because that's where you had the village council office, the youth division, the youth officer had an office there as well, and they were also using it to do skills training. But the Hurricane Maria damaged it. So this is one of the projects that I'm looking forward to.
But in I mean, I know this area very well. Is this something that we can repair, or is it something that we may need to do a completely new project, though?
It seems. It seems we might have to do something major there.
Yeah, because my view is instead of repairing this old building, why don't we look at building something new? And I have no difficulty in engaging yourself and the community on that.
And yes, and the Lapin Community Center as well, it was damaged badly by Hurricane Maria. It's now standing there in a state of real dereliction. So I'm trying my best to tackle this one as well. These are some of the close projects to my heart. Yeah,
well, as we've spoken before on the Lapin community, and there's some lands in the vicinity of the health center and the apartments and so forth,
yes.
That we believe that may be adequate for the construction of a new modern community center.
It's adequate.
Yeah, so we can look at this. Because I know repairing something is good, but these buildings are old, and I think we should look at replacing them for the future. So, but rest assured, if you get to the housing, I know housing is a major issue down there, and as you've said, you've done the assessments, and we'll certainly be coming there in a huge way to help the people of Lapin. Any other projects there? What about the roads up there? The farm access roads?
I was about to say the farm access roads, and there is a drain leaving the apartments where all the grey water goes to, and this drain is very, very important to me, because there are many people living there and they use their pipes, and 66 apartments in that very small drain, and it's very earthy, and now there's a swamp in the areas.
Well, I'm sure my dear friend, the Minister of Public Works is watching and listening, and he'll take note of that one. Yeah.
But the farm access roads is very important, especially the Runnery Estate Road.
Akira?
Yeah.
Rosa South. what are your plans for the future there? I know you spoke about housing, and of course, we're not only committed to housing for Newtown and Egliston and Girodale, but Bath Estate and Kingshill has a major housing problem. I really want us to get the people along this ravine on the back road.
Back Street, yes.
Back Street, out of there, you know. And so, but we need to give them a better alternative, and we need to work on the lands there so we can build better and safer homes for them. What are the plans that you have there?
Well, PM, if I have to speak about my plans for Roosevelt, you may have to have me for 2 hours or 3 hours on the program, but I will just highlight a few. But I just want to say that we have made several of our high school and college students happy, because we have issued them laptops. We know we're in the COVID period, and many of their assignments would have to be done online. So they're in a better position now than they were before. In regards to Roseau South, PM, and housing, as I mentioned earlier, we
how many laptops did you deliver in Roseau South so far? Have you delivered so far?
PM, we have delivered about 80 laptops so far. On Monday, we'll be distributing laptops to high school and college students from the Kingshead area. What I'm doing ceremonies. I'm inviting both parents and the students to the ceremonies and handing over the laptops to them. In regards to housing, we continue to push forward, PM, as I said to you, where housing is concerned. We know that this is a major challenge, especially in the Newtown, Kingshill, and Bath Estate area. But the people are understanding. That is the most important thing. In regards to Kingshill, we're rehabilitating the Kingshill Military Cemetery, which we intend to use as another tourist site attraction, because we have some French soldiers who were buried there and their tombs there, so we're currently doing some rehabilitation works there. We're also doing the Kingshill half-cut. We had a setback, PM. The young people are eager to have their half-cut built, and they're currently doing so on a voluntary basis. So I'm providing all the material to them, and they're working throughout the day on the Kingshill half-cut. We also have the multi-purpose hard-cut facility at Bath Estate. We completed the first phase a few months ago, and we're looking to do the second phase, which is the surfacing of the hard-cut. And we're hoping to have that done between the next 2 to 3 weeks. I was informed that the surfacing material will arrive next week. And we had already advanced the funds for that 6 months ago. But we were told that because of the pandemic, they had some issues in getting the material to us. So we'll see the second phase of that. Also, the Girodale Flower Show. That is something I have very dear to my heart. We have to revamp the Girodale Flower Show. I visited this site with the Flower Growers Group, also with Marva Williams and her team from DDA to provide the necessary support for them. And we will also invite some of the villagers, because they too would have some input in how we move forward. We intend to launch, do a launching by the end of May, and so the people can have a look as to what is it that we have conceptualized for the flower show. And we want to make the flower show site one of our main tourist sites. When the people leave the cruise ship, they can visit the flower show site, and that can create some form of economic activity for the people of Girodale and Egliston. Recently, I have revamped what you called NASE, that is Newtown Association of Yachting Services and Security. $29,000 have been approved for them. That is to put some moorings in the sea so we can accommodate more yachts. And that association basically will provide the security for the yachties who come to our shores in Newtown. So PM, we have been doing a lot of work. We're also doing the Silver Lake playing field. That is close to the river, and to thank Mr. Ferdinand Greenaway for embarking on that project for us. And also the rehabilitation of the Lubia playing field. There was a little setback, but we intend to resume in the next 2 weeks.
And I know there's a question I'm seeing, when we will receive commencement of the Emsall Bath Estate Bridge. I will answer this question, and I will say to you that we will go back to tender on this project in the next few weeks. We were dealing with the second bridge in Hillsborough, Layu, And so I have cleared this contract. And having cleared this contract, we're going to give our full attention to the Bafested Emswell Bridge. The last time we went to tender, it came back way higher than the in-house estimates. And we felt that we need to go back to tender, and so we're going to go back to tender soon on this. So I know the wonderful senior citizens, I don't want to call the names, they're waiting on this program just to hear about the bridge.
I know.
But I give you the assurance that we will go back to tender in the next few weeks and so on. Any final words, Ken, to your constituents, to the country as a whole?
Yes, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me to him again. And finally, I would like to tell the Dominican people that the vaccination continues, and I really have to ask them to continue to take their vaccine and go out and take their vaccines, because we want this country to achieve herd immunity. I'm thanking the people of the Ministry of Health who have been working tirelessly throughout this pandemic to have people vaccinated. And the people of the Latin constituency, I'm telling them that we in the government of Dominica, Labour Party government, have them at our heart, and we are going to come to them and help them with all the needs. But it's not going to happen one time, but we're doing our best to do what is possible to make life better for them, because we are here for them and we are here to help them. I'm thanking them for entrusting me with the task of representing them, and I'm doing that to the best of my ability, and things can only get better.
Well, I want to say good evening to Marsley Prosper. I want to say good night to my brother James in Dailies, and to my friend in Whitaker, Joseph, Isaiah Joseph. My very good friends there. Shakira, any final words?
Yes, Pam, I want to first thank you for having me on this program. And all the projects that I mentioned are projects that are ongoing. So there is, in fact, development in the Roseau South constituency. I also want to thank my constituents for their continued support, PM, and their patience. And I just want to tell the stakeholders in the tourism industry, the taxi operators, the vendors, the tour guides, that in order to reclaim their livelihood, they have to get vaccinated. And they need to encourage their peers as well to get vaccinated.
Thank you. I want to say good evening to my friend in Bafested, Mrs. Cyrene, a wonderful lady. And also Mr. Moses of Newtown. And I want to say to my friend in Eggleston, Mrs. Antoine. I know you were not well recently, and I will come to see you on Wednesday, God's willing. So see you on Wednesday, God's willing. Thank you, Pal Reps. I wish you all the best. You have my absolute support and encouragement, and I will do everything within my power as the Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, to support your activities as you seek to make life better for your constituents in La Plaine and constituents in Roseau South. Thank you. Now, I want to share with you the bi-weekly or the bi-monthly press briefing will continue this week with the Minister for Public Works and the Digital Economy, Honorable Cassidy Laville, and also the Minister of Governance, Public Service Reform, Citizenship Empowerment, Social Justice and Ecclesiastical Affairs. Honorable Greta Roberts will be with you this week to inform you of the developments in their respective ministries. Now, I understand that some bus drivers in this country are planning some kind of protest actions. Now, if they wish to do so, that's a matter for them. But to say that we recognize that coronavirus has affected everyone, especially people in the service industry, in the tourism industry. And the bus drivers happen to be in that category. Many of them rely exclusively on the cruise season to ply the trade. What we have done as a government is to put $15 million at the Social Security to provide income support to bus drivers and bus owners. And we've also put funds at the Aid Bank to assist small business owners with their small businesses to, up to $15,000 per person. The reports I have before me shows that over 237 bus drivers contracted these loans at the aid bank, averaging about $12,000 to $13,000 each. And of course, a significant number of them have also benefited from the income support at the aid bank. And I know that they have challenges. I have met with bus drivers individually and in small groups as I go across the country. And their challenges are not dissimilar to the challenges of the vendors or the tour guides. And we also met with representatives of bus drivers from the East Coast, from Portsmouth, from St. Joseph, Layo, Soufriere, Scott said, and Maho, Massac Line, and so forth. And we met with them and we discussed, I believe Salisbury as well. We discussed with them their challenges. I was present at the meeting. We put forms together. We came up with a form very quickly, and we gave it to them so that they could get the bus drivers to fill out those forms with a view to assessing their situation and to see what additional support we can provide to these bus drivers. Now, obviously, we have to go and examine these forms and the veracity of the information given to us, because I made it clear to the bus drivers, and I believe that they agree with me, that they are people who rely exclusively on driving a bus for their livelihood. And there are some who may be bus drivers but have other incomes, have set permanent incomes. They work in the public service, they work in the private sector. Now, I said to the bus drivers, my preoccupation now is for people who rely exclusively on driving a bus or owning a bus for their living, for their livelihood. They must be given priority. And therefore, we have to, with the 300 plus applications we got, we have to go through them and ensure that we come up with the list of people who rely on bus driving absolutely for the support. And we intend to support them. I know some of them, they need some new tires, they have challenges of paying their insurance. Some told me that they have to pay every 2 months, the insurance every 6 months, insurance and so on. But what I will never fall for is for anybody trying to extort the government or extort Roosevelt Skerrit or putting a gun to my head. This is not, anybody who's going to engage me in those kinds of activities, you're not going to get your way with me. I don't fall for anybody's putting a gun to my head and threatening me, or it's trying to extort the government, ability they can put pressure on the government. If you're serious about engaging the government, I am serious about engaging you. And when I make a promise to people, I keep the promise. It may take longer than people would like it to happen sometimes, or even myself would like to happen sometimes, because people know me. When I give a promise, I like to get the thing going as quickly as possible. But this is money. This is people's money. And therefore, we need to ensure that who we're going to give money are people who deserve the money or who need the money, and the people fall in the category of those persons who are driving buses only for their living. Because we have seen situations in the past where government has had programs for bus drivers. I remember after Erica and after Maria, where we put systems in place, and the person who is driving the bus never got anything. And the person who has 2 or 3 buses got 2 or 3 times, and the person who is dependent on this for his living got nothing. I'm not going to make this happen to the government again. And neither am I going to make it happen to the people who rely on this bus driving. So if people want to play their politics and so forth in this country, in a time when we are seeking to create a better way of life for each of us and everybody in this country, and the world is going through all of its challenges, people are losing their jobs and so forth. That's a matter for you, the bus drivers. All I'm saying to you that whoever is advising you is misguiding you and giving you wrong advice. And so if you want to take off the discussion that we have on the table by going to protest, then let me know. Because it's not that the government has so much money that it doesn't know what to do with it, I have so many things I can do with money that I have decided to assign to assist in you bus driver, so you can buy for your tires, you can pay your insurance for the year, etc., etc. But you're not going to put pressure on Roosevelt Skerrit, not on me. you know, and so this is a democracy. People will do what they believe within the law, will advance their cause, and if you believe protesting, not carrying people tomorrow so that you yourself can make money. And I don't know how you want to protest when you say you need to make more money and you need money. Now is the time for you to be carrying everybody to go to work and so on, and you say you're not going to carry anybody to work tomorrow because you want to protest. It makes no sense to me. So, my friends, this is our country. We are a country to build. This world is going through huge challenges. Huge challenges. You see what's happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You know, the entire country is covered with ash, and you know, one can understand what happens to these people's livestock and to their farming, to their agriculture, to their businesses, to their homes, you know, to the water supply. It's a huge challenge, and it is almost reminiscent of the challenges brought on to us by Hurricane Maria. And so we empathize with the people of St. Vincent. This is why we have a duty and obligation to reach out to them. We do not have plenty of money, but we have a duty to reach out to our brothers and sisters. And as long as I'm the Prime Minister of this country, any country that has in difficulties, and we have some assistance to give, well, from the little that we have, we will provide it to them. We have to not only talk about being our neighbor's keeper, we have to be our neighbor's keeper in practice, in deeds, and in actions. And this is my commitment to my brothers and sisters in the great nation of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So, Comrade Ralph Gonzalez, we are with you 100% in solidarity, in support, in prayer, and we will be working with you in this difficult path that you have to lead your country in this difficult period. And one can only understand how challenging it is with all of the difficulties brought on by COVID-19. You have to deal with this eruption of this volcano and the dislocation of 20,000 citizens, and even those who did not have to evacuate have been impacted by the falling ash. And so I really sympathize and empathize with you and the people of St. Vincent and Grenadines. Let us go forth and serve our country and serve our God. Let us look always at the glass half full. And when we see the glass half full rather than half empty, it is a demonstration of our gratitude. Our gratitude. We may not have all that we need, but we do have something. Imagine what the rest of the world is going through with so many people out of work. So many people have died as a result of COVID-19. And the fact that many countries across the world, especially the larger countries, are in a complete lockdown because of a third and a fourth wave of COVID-19. You know, we really have to thank God for the blessings that He's given to us. So this is not a time for acrimony. This is not a time for division. This is not a time for this unnecessary rancor. This is a time for us to work together and to see ourselves through this difficult period. To see ourselves through this difficult period. And we don't come complain as a government of how difficult it is to run a country, but reflect on how difficult it is for you to manage the affairs of your family. Just you, your husband, and 2 children. And so imagine the responsibility I have with 72,000 people, and plus dealing with a whole set of Facebook junkies who talk all sorts of negative things on a daily basis, and negative way, and talk shows and all these things and so forth. But the Lord has been good to us, and we give Him all the praises and thanks for His wonderful blessings and having His hands over us. You know, and the challenges we go through, whether it's Erica, whether it's Maria, whether it's COVID-19, these are just testing our faith. But like Job, we shall remain faithful to our God and faithful to our country. And like Job, I shall remain faithful to this country, and I shall remain faithful to the God which I serve and the God which has provided at every turn. And thank you very much. Good night. I love you very much. I love this country. Let us work together to build this country. Have a wonderful week. Thank you. Today we are on a site visit for the International Airport project. We are here now at the Joburton site. We're building some 37 residences for families that will be directly affected by the construction of the airport. As you know, we've had to acquire people's private homes, so we're building for them. The interesting point is that all of these 37 homes have been built by local contractors, and all its services have been offered and provided by local Dominicans. So this is a major plus, especially in these times. They've all been assisted in one way or the other to ensure that they maintain the high quality of the construction. And so it's a slight competition going around among the contractors, you know, to see. But it is a friendly fire, you say, which is important. But I really want to thank IMC for their partnership on this project. The airport is a major project, and of course the housing is also critical for the residents. I'm happy that they're happy now. They're seeing something tangible happening. They've had input in the design and the floor plans and the elevations of the designs. So they have been all part of the process, and that's what we're seeking to do. Not leave anybody behind, but engage people as we go along. So very happy to see the site. The last time we were here, we were clearing the land. Now we're actually building. I'm very happy for the local contractors. My advice to them: make use of the money properly. Don't go spending themselves out, and reinvest and invest the funds and to build the capacity, buy equipment and tools that are necessary for construction. This is a major contract for all of them who are involved, and I'm hoping that they can use it as a springboard. So far, all of the services, all of the construction taking place with regards to the airport are local contractors. These residences and also the construction of the National Lab. And as we go along, there'll be opportunities for Dominicans to be engaged in one way or the other, once they can be fitted into the construction schedule and the construction demands for the international airport. So it's left to us as Dominicans to place ourselves in a position to take advantage of the opportunities and not spend our time complaining about things that we should not be complaining about, and to see how we can take advantage of the opportunities that are available during construction. Thank you.